Gordy was leaving. He told us he was leaving, and then I was in LA doing some solo things, and I auditioned. I set up 3 drummers that I really knew about and auditioned them. None of them really worked. They were all great players, but nothing worked. So I decided to do it through. Actually, I was just going through the internet and then looking at a company that fixed up transport and stuff for drummers, and Billy was on that list of the drummers that they. So I just went through the list, looking at really good drummers, and because you can find everything now, like pieces of film about them and watching them play. And so Alan and I asked Billy if he could film himself doing a couple of songs, which most drummers are up for now. You know, just with a little GoPro cam or something like that. And actually we asked 2 or 3 guys, and Billy, I just kept coming back to Billy. His playing was just so sweet, and I just thought it empathized so much with Graham's. He had the same kind of feel and sound, and I just thought it was going to be a perfect fit. So it happened over the internet, and I'm so glad that it worked out. So far, but he's a lovely boy. And I know everybody here will make him welcome. Yes.
So Ringo or Charlie Watts didn't want to be bothered filming themselves?
Too bad.
I kept calling, but I said, no, I don't want to take, stop calling me.
And real quickly, for you, Graham and John, the rhythm section and working with a new drummer, I mean, Gordy was there 25 years, a long time. I'm sure you were used to certain things. How's it been now for the last week or so? You did some rehearsing up in Nashville, did the 2 shows.
Well, he's good. He knows what he's doing, and he's, as Justin said, his concept of drumming is similar to mine. He tunes his drums to get the sound of the shell right, not to get the skin the right tension to your stick bands to get your little clever tricks. He plays like me, more melodic.
Yeah.
And it fits together nicely.
Yeah, for me, what's really important is the bass drum work, because that's where the drive of the Moody Blues comes from. And so I'm listening, and Billy's got it all together. I couldn't believe it the first day of rehearsals. He got everything right, he got the right feel, and it made it easy for us because we just went through the whole show, and we didn't stop. We did the whole 2.25-hour show in one rehearsal. Couldn't believe it.
Well, I've already done it with him.
Yeah, so it's brilliant. So it's really good. Yeah, well, somebody else turned up.
All right, well, that takes care of the present day, and now we will rewind the clock. We were trying to figure out, what to talk about this time, and it happens to be that it is the 50th anniversary of both John and Justin joining the band. So in 2014, when we last left our Cape Crusaders here on the stage, one of the stories was, Graham, you're going to have to jump in here, but there was a point where the first incarnation of the Moody Blues, prior to Justin and John, in the back of a van, and somebody said that, something with a promoter telling you guys that basically you sucked.
Oh, no, Josh was in the band.
We sucked after. We sucked when John and I were in the band.
That's what we joined. We've been suckers for
They
a
were
long
great
time.
before. They were really good before we joined.
I had a hit record before we turned up.
All right, well then, Graham, tell me what was going on there in '66. There were obviously some changes. The band was at a crossroads. And what was your involvement in trying to find some replacements to come in, and the stroke of luck to end up with these 2 gentlemen?
I'm speechless. That's a first. Trying to gather it all together, it's 50 years ago. Because you told me you were going to ask questions, and I had it all nicely lined up. But it started on the Thursday, and you come right to the end. How did it all break up? And well, basically, yeah, Clint Warwick. Basically, as everybody does in the business, we had a management team that stole all our money and disappeared. So we were broke and in quite severe debt. In fact, for about the first 2 years, everywhere just John went with us. We had to pay 2 hotel bills, the one where we were staying and the one where we'd stayed before. That went down like a cup of cold sick. Where was I now? Oh yeah, so Clint Warwick had to leave because he had a wife and a child that required food. And so, and that kind of put a bit of a stress on things. We got this young lad, you know, I never knew I can't remember his name. I can barely remember my name. But he was only with us for about 6 weeks, and then he decided he was going to go and form some kind of stringed orchestra band thing. And me, Ray, and Mike Pinder sort of decided we were going to sew something back together. And I believe it was Ray who was in a nightclub, and Eric Burden, who was reforming the Animals, he'd got a whole bunch of, you know, lead guitarists and bass guitarists and drummers and stuff like that to form his band. And he let Ray have his choice. And we put in our thumb and pulled out a plug. Look at that.
And
Yeah.
no, go ahead.
Well, for me,
No,
Well,
let Graham finish.
I haven't got around to John yet.
no, I thought
Because
you were looking at me.
John and Ray and Mike had played together in a band called El Root and the Rabble. It was actually El Riot and the Rebels. We all knew them as El Root and the Rabble. And so they were close friends. And John was always going to be sort of in the M&B5, which we originally were. But he wanted to stay on to finish his schooling, which has been very useful to him. In fact, when he learns how to design refrigerators has been a godsend all his life. And so he came along sort of almost automatically. And then we met a guy who I'm so good with names. Who was the guy who took us over to...
Ricky Steen took us over to Belgium.
That's
yeah.
him, yeah.
Yeah, and he offered us some gigs. Well, he offered us a place to stay, didn't he? A
Yeah.
place to live. Which is
Yeah,
more
right,
important
yeah.
than some gigs. Yeah.
Yeah, because back then, I don't know if you had it in America, but in England, they used to deliver the milk to your door, and you could buy bread and cheese and eggs, as well as milk off the milkman. And that's what we lived on. He does a mean egg dip sandwich. We had no money, so eating that every morning, we'd hide from him. But he was always, when we did get money, he was always the first guy we paid.
Yeah, hide behind the curtain when the milkman came, wanting his money.
Yeah, then Rick Steen offers us a way out.
Ricky Steen, yeah.
Yeah.
Rick Steen, Ricky Steen, yeah. It was great, yeah, wasn't it? It was a lifesaver for us because he offered us a place to rehearse and some gigs and a place to live for a couple of months.
Actually,